I did start out for 3 years as a St. Louis City police officer. I had originally thought that I would go into some legal work involving the police. My father was a lawyer in St. Louis in a very small firm. So all the time I was growing up, I kind of knew about the law practice, general practice. After I was a St. Louis City police officer, I went to law school. When I graduated from law school, I decided, at least for a while, to join with my dad. It made the interviewing part easier as far as getting the job went. So for 20 years, I ended up working as a general practice lawyer. I often felt like when I was starting work for somebody, I was like a brand new lawyer, even 10 years, 15 years into the job, because there were so many different things that people would bring up, and we would try to work on most of them. In one respect, I think that was actually a good preparation for being a trial judge. Some judges get to specialize, but a basic trial court judge in a city like St. Louis, there may be a lot of details that you have to learn as you go, but that's your job. Doing general practice law was a pretty good preparation for doing general practice judging. I was very much committed to following the rules, and within that context, I wanted to make sure that when people were assigned to my courtroom, they left feeling I got to give my account of whatever it was that I was advocating for. That was very important to me. There were some people who did have a real impact on me before I became a judge. One whom I never practiced in front of, but got to know fairly well, was Judge Theodore McMillian, who by that time was in the federal court system. I had gotten to know Judge McMillian well before that, and really respected his intelligence and his whole style. And another person who I respected a lot was Judge Jim Hartenbach, who was in St. Louis County. Here at the City Circuit Court, there were a number of people, but two that I remember very well. Judge O'Shea, for a long part of his career, was the probate judge. He also seemed to have a real commitment to me, to giving people a chance to present their case before he made any decisions, certainly before he made final decisions. Judge Hart was similar, and both of them just struck me as very decent people. What was most important to me, anyway, was trying to make sure that our docketing system worked the way it was designed to work. I really tried, when I was a trial court judge, to make sure that I took the docket seriously, tried to call people ahead of time to make sure that they knew their cases were on the docket and that they were going to be ready to go. And if they weren't ready to go, that they had a real reason for not being ready. I also felt it was important that people knew that the trial system was what we offered to people. That was what our court was here for, to resolve disputes, and if we couldn't do it otherwise, to have a trial and let the jury or the judge decide what the resolution to the dispute would be. I'm a little reluctant to give advice because I think that for most of the issues that come up, there's more than one way to approach things. There were some judges in this court when I was here with whom I disagreed about a number of things, but if the person followed the rules and really made an effort at having an open courtroom, that seemed very important to me. I hope people remember me as someone who did give them that full opportunity to present their case and to make their arguments, and I hope people who were in my courtroom felt like I did really pay attention and weigh both sides before making a decision. I had a lot of criminal cases, and a number were trials. Many, many more were guilty pleas. And I felt that the probation system was an important part of the next step. So I had a lot of people on probation, and I just thought it was important that probation be something that was an active factor in a person's life, not just a word that, and then you hope that the time would pass and you'd be off probation. So I tried to do a lot of reading the reports that would come in from the probation officers, calling probation officers sometimes to ask about things, putting a number of cases on the probation review docket, and getting people into the courtroom and trying to figure out, was probation really something that was going to work and that was both going to give you an opportunity to do some things to put yourself in a better place, and that you were going to take advantage of that, or if I had made a mistake and probation really wasn't something that you were going to take advantage of or that was going to help you, and so we needed to look at some alternative. I hope those two things at least are things that people will think that I worked hard at and really tried to make a fundamental part of the way I did my job.